Hello guys, in these slides we are going to discuss the phylum Mollusca of animal kingdom. This will be the second largest phylum of animal kingdom, comprising of 85,000 species of molluscans. These are being recognized till now. Now, in this phylum Mollusca, we are going to discuss the general characteristics or the salient features of this phylum. So, study of the mollusca is called to be as the Malacology, and the term mollusca has been coined by Mr. Johnston. Following the next slide, these are the organisms which are soft-bodied. All the molluscans are soft-bodied. They don't have any kind of the hard-bodied kind of the molluscans. They are found to be present in both the kind of habitats, that is the aquatic and also the terrestrial. In terrestrial, it is seen that most or the majority of the molluscans are going to live in damp soil. They are non-metametric and are unsegmented. Here non-metametric or unsegmented in the sense that in certain or some phylum like nematodes or platyhelminthes, the organism has been segmented with the many parts. That is, it can be seen that the segments is in their whatever the skin nature appearance, that is in the insect we see that. So here within the molluscans, the organism is non-segmented or non-metametric. Body is divisible into three regions: head, visceral hump mass, and ventral muscular foot for movement. Now here, when you are going to consider this, here you can see this will be the head, this will be the visceral mass, and this is the ventral foot. This is the snail organism. So here this will be the head, this will be the visceral mass, and this will be the ventral foot. So this is how body has been divided. Now further point is, body is covered by a thin fleshy mantle around the visceral mass, and which may secrete the calcareous cell. Now here, when you are going to consider visceral mass, here this one you can see, this will be the visceral mass, which will be whitish or creamier in color, which is again going to lodge the other different organs, and it also going to have a thin mantle like layer. So here what you are seeing, this is just a layer which you are observing. So here this will be the thin layer which will be present, and it will be responsible for the secretion of the calcareous cell. There will be the hard part of the cell or the animal which will be covering or guarding the visceral mass and other organs. So that will be of the calcareous, that is the calcium carbonate composition. Now here one more point, mollusks are the largest marine phylum, comprising about 23% of all the named marine organisms. So when you are going to consider both the habitats, aquatic is one out of that, where it is said to be as the 23% of the mollusks. all the named marine organisms, in the sense whatever the total number of the organisms considered from the phylum 1 to the phylum last, that is the protozoa to the arthropoda or the mammalian kind, whatever the phylums in between these has been covered. Within that phylums, whatever the marine organisms has been discussed, out of those marine organisms, 23% of the organisms are the mollusks. That is the meaning of this. So here, coming to the next slide, sense organs are eyes, tentacles, osphradium and statocysts. So here sensory organs will be present within the organisms. That will be the eyes. So eyes are these two here, and tentacles are these. There will be two again. Osphradium is one which is going to present just in the gills, that is just adjacent to the gills, and statocysts are the sensory organs. They are going to present to balance the organism or they balance the receptors. Now here the osphradium is an olfactory organ in certain mollusks linked with the respiration organ, and the statocyst is a balanced sensory receptor present next to the gills of the organism. So here this will be the gill. Now osphradium present will be just adjacent to this gills, which is going to have the control over the influx or the outflux of the movement of the water is going to take place. So they are bilaterally symmetrical. Here bilaterally symmetrical in the sense, if you are going to cut the organism from its anterior to the posterior and longitudinally, that is going to divide the organisms into two equal halves with respective size of the organ has been divided within to the two parts. That is called to be as the bilaterally symmetry. So further is they are triploblastic with three layers known to be ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So these organisms are triploblastic, having three layers of the development. They show organ system grade of organization. So here you can observe very clearly compared to the previous phylums like the Porifera, Protozoa or the Nemethelminthes or the Platyhelminthes or Aschelminthes. Like this, if you are going to consider or compare, here the development of organs is taken place, but to these previous phylums the development of organs is not going to take place. There you see the tissue grade of organization. Here the organs has been observed which are very clearly developed, like you can see gill, anus, mantle, coelom, intestine, gonad, shell, digestive system, that is what stomach, and further the foot, nerve cords, mouth, radula, head is distinct. In the same manner, this is the snail, this is the freshwater mussels, that is the unio is the example. Here also you can see foot, mantle, gill and the siphons, water excrement siphons, anus, adductor muscle, heart, coelom, gut, hinge area, mantle, shell, mouth. So in this form you can see that organism is showing the organ system grade of organization. So in this slide we are going to observe the digestive tract is complete and with mouth, anus and complex stomach. Mouth, anus and complex stomach. Now here you can see mouth and there is the anus and there is the complex stomach. Here you can see after mouth it leads to the stomach, which again leads to the intestine kind of appearance, and it is going to lead to the anus. Mouth has radula, which is rasping or hard structure that has chitinous teeth. It is used in feeding food. That is, here when you are going to consider this part of the mouth, and this is the magnified image which is showing the radula before to the mouth. That is what the appearance of this, which is rasping or hard. Rasping in the sense it is made up of some or certain material which is hard in nature and rough in appearance, which is going to help the organism to capture the food and further to move it into the mouth. Now here those are called to be as the chitinous teeth. Food is taken up by cells lining the digestive glands, coming up from the stomach, and then is passed into the blood. Now here it is explaining about the, so here the digestive glands present within this digestive system, which are going to having the lining of the cells. Those cells are going to take the digested food or absorb the digested food, and they are going to pass whatever the nutrients has been absorbed. So many of the mollusks shows the different patterns of the digestive system. That is totally dependent on the kind of the diet they are going to take or adopted with the kind of the diet. Undigested materials are then let out through the anus into the mantle cavity and are carried away from the animals in the water currents. So here after the digestion or absorption of the nutrients is taken place, the undigested materials are then let out through the anus into the mantle cavity and are carried away from the animals in the water currents. So here after whatever has been absorbed, the mantle cavity is going to have the anus. This is called to be mantle cavity. Is going to have the anus, and here it is the whatever the waste has been coming out in the form of the ammonia or urea. It is going to come here, and after that whatever the water currents will be there, that is going to move out the waste from here. Here the body cavity is haemocoel, the primary body cavity of most invertebrates containing circulatory fluid. Now here what is body cavity? Body cavity is nothing but which is having the complete circulatory system, which is going to circulate whatever the blood like components within the organism. That is the body cavity, where this cavity is in the most invertebrates containing the circulatory fluid. It is going to circulate the fluid within the organism. Now here you can observe both the pictures. They are showing the circulatory system within the organism. The circulatory system is open kind with heart and aorta. Here you can see the heart. They are bivalve. One is the auricle and other is the ventricle, and you can see the aorta. An open circulatory system allows the blood to flow freely throughout the body. Blood within an open circulatory system is pumped by the heart into tissue throughout the body. Blood color is blue-green. It consists of copper pigment haemocyanin. So this is the myogenic heart, there is no involvement of nervous system to control the heart functioning. Cardiac tissue cells present will self-function the heart. For example, if you are going to consider the any organ functioning within the body, for example within the human beings, here the human beings, each and every organ or major organs has been controlled by the nervous system. But as per the myogenic heart type, it will not be controlled by the nervous system. There is no involvement of any of the nervous system, but it will be controlled by the cardiac tissue cells. So cardiac tissue cells are the sole responsible tissue cells to functioning of the heart. That is what the meaning. Now here, open circulatory system. What does it mean? Open circulatory system means here there is the aorta, but there is no formation of the arteries or the veins. Here the blood can circulate at any form. In the arteries and veins, we consider to be as the blood which goes into the arteries or the pure blood or decarbonated blood, whereas the veins are going to collect the carbonated blood. So in this mollusks, as it is an open circulatory system, here there is no such kind of phenomena. Here the pumping of the blood will take place, and here whatever has been observed, the movement of the blood is irrespective of its purity. So that is what is going to call to be as the open circulatory system. The nervous system is made up of 3 pairs of ganglia. Here you can see this is central ganglia, this is visceral ganglia, this is pedal ganglia. So this is what the 3 pairs of ganglia. Visceral ganglia again called to be as the pleural ganglia, whereas the pedal and cerebral is the same. So here when you are going to consider, these ganglia are connected by connectives and commissures. Here commissures, it is between the 2 ganglions of the pair. Connectives is between the 2 different ganglions or 2 different pair of ganglions. Here between this pleural ganglion, that is visceral ganglion, and the cerebral ganglion, whatever the connectives has been measured, seen, that is the connectives, that is also a part of nervous system. Here this is also connectives, but between the pair, that is the commissures. Here also there will be, but as per the view it is not showing. The connectives are the cerebral-pedal, cerebral-pleural, pleuropedal. So here there will be the one more connections also, but it has been not showing or appearing here. So this is how there will be a triangular or the interconnectant between the ganglion is going to take place to complete the nervous system. The commissures are present between the cerebral pedals and the pleurals. So here what I said, commissures, they will be present within the pair of the ganglion. Now here respiration occurs through gills called ctenidia. Aquatic mollusks such as snails, clams and octopi typically breathe using gills inside their mantle cavity. So here, when you are going to consider aquatic form of mollusks, here what I have shown, it is terrestrial form of mollusk. Here also, an organ of the mollusk is of the terrestrial form. When you are going to consider this aquatic form of the unio, here you can see aquatic form of the unio, freshwater mussel. Here you can see the gills, it is called as the ctenidia, and here you can see the gill. This is the aquatic form of the mollusk, snail. Here also this is the freshwater mussel unio. You can see this will be the aquatic forms which is going to have ctenidia here also. Now going to the slide, the next point is land snails and slugs do not have gills. They respire using a mantle cavity. Now here, this is the mantle cavity of the terrestrial form of the mollusks, which is going to have again the ctenidium, but it is not as similar to what the aquatic form which we have observed or discussed. Now here you can see the inhalant of the air, exhalant of the air is taking place. Now here there is one more specific or unique kind of the mollusk which has been observed, that is Helix pomatia. It breathes oxygen from dry air with lung, is placed systematically in the group of lung snails or plumonate snails. Here you can see that organism is having a structure of the lung where they are going to respire the oxygen from dry air. So this is what the three different kinds are the kinds of the respiratory organs observed within the mollusks. Here the ventral muscular foot helps in locomotion. Here it is the muscular foot. Why it is called to as the ventral? It is because of its positioning towards the ventral body part. You can call it, the dorsal and ventral appearances within the body part. Here when you are going to consider an organism, it is going to have anterior posterior points, lateral points, and the dorsal and ventral points. So here in this organism also, if you are going to consider, this will be the anterior and this will be, here will be the posterior, and both these sides of the organism is going to be the lateral, and this will be the calcareous shell is going to be the dorsal, and the foot is going to be the ventral. So as the foot is present ventrally, it is called to be as the ventral muscular foot. It helps in the locomotion of the organism, and they have a pair of metanephridia, that is the kidneys, also known as the Cabers organs or organ of Bochanus. Here this is the nephridium, which is metanephridium in the sense they are quite good matured kind of the organ, functions as the kidneys. They are going to excrete the ammonia or uric acid. So here the excretion takes place. Here is the nephridium, a small part what you are observing, that is attached within the digestive system. It's going to function to remove the waste in the form of the ammonia or uric acid. Sexes are separate and reproduction is through sexual reproduction. So here sexes are separate in the sense male organisms are separate and female organisms are separate. Fertilization can be internal or external depending upon the developmental stages. Internal in the sense within the body the organism is going to develop. External in the sense if the other medium is required or host is required, that is external. Development is by both direct and indirect. The indirect development going to have larval stages which is observed. This is what about the sexes. Classification is they are going to have different classes within the phylum. One is bivalvia, gastropoda, cephalopoda, monoplacophora, amphineura, scaphopoda. And I thank you for tuning to our channel, and I request you all guys to spread these slides and also revisit our channel and also help us to reach many number of the people like the students and other keen learners who are thinking that whoever is thinking that our slides are good enough. If you find any flaws or wrongs, you can mention in the comments and also help us to develop better slides compared to this and early slides which has been already uploaded. So thank you for tuning into the big book and help us to get more subscribers and also encourage us by giving the new topics which is very much required for you so that we can the slides on those.